Also, there are calls for the federal government to buy back Darwin Port from a Chinese-owned company amid growing concerns over Beijing's military build-up in the Indo-Pacific. Labor's Nick Champion is leading the charge on this one, but the government says it has no plans to buy it back.
A gateway to the South Pacific, Darwin Port opens up Australia to global markets. In 2015, Chinese-owned company Landbridge was granted a 99-year lease for $500 million by the Northern Territory. But Beijing's growing Pacific influence has prompted calls from Labor MP Nick Champion for the Morrison government to buy it back. Touring the Rheinmetall military vehicle site in Queensland, Scott Morrison quashed any current plans to nationalise the port, but conceded it wasn't the type of lease he would have permitted if he had the power to prevent it.
That was a decision taken at the time by the Northern Territory government. What our government did in response to that, I was Treasurer at the time, is we worked with the state and territory governments to ensure that in a situation like that again, it wouldn't be left to the sole discretion of the state and territory government. And those rules are now in place for those types of facilities. So we've taken action since that time, but that is what you've suggested is not something that's before the government.
Nick Champion is the Deputy Chair of Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee. He says China's long-term lease is concerning because of the port's positioning and the large volume of Australian defence facilities in the top end. Shadow Foreign Minister Penny Wong, though, says the issue hasn't been raised by American counterparts.
This isn't an issue that's been raised with me in recent times by US counterparts. The second point I'd make is investment decisions are matters for the government of the day, and they should always look to, foreign investment decisions should always consider the national interest. So it's really up to the government to, again, explain their decision and why it was in the national interest.
Not surprisingly, One Nation's Pauline Hanson says she has grave concerns over China's growing influence and Australian ownership.
I have grave concerns for China, I really do, and I think one day they'd love to have their hands on Australia, and they're slowly taking it, not by stealth, but by cunning, by actually allowing, or our government's allowing them to buy up everything, even leasing the Darwin Port and buying up our land. You can see they're strategically setting themselves up in the islands around Australia as well.
Brendan Smith, Sky News.